Hi, everybody. How's it going? I want to talk about how different it is today compared to before. And you might be on the receiving end of something like this. So I'm going to kind of go back a little bit and talk about these are the people in my family and the fact that I was raised primarily around educated individuals, and some of them dove into medicine. I had my dad's brother was a psychiatrist. He dealt with addictions. My maternal grandma's brother-in-law was a doctor. His name was Doc. He delivered a lot of the babies in the family. And then my dad was a firefighter paramedic. My mom was a nurse. And so, despite all of that, I never remember the lay people in our family or even my parents slapping a medical diagnosis on someone just because. And I'll also dive into the fact that my dad was an alcoholic. He suffered from that a majority of our lives. And even though he did, I never, ever, ever would say he's narcissistic or bipolar or anything like that. It would just kept it short, sweet, and to the point. But normally, I think even being raised even going into the military myself as an Army medic, I knew I never had the right to diagnose anyone, especially given the fact that I had no training in therapy or anything like that. Even in the medical field, I could say someone had a second or third degree burn, but if it was anything past, well, I'll dive into that later. But I think when it comes to our sons and daughters today, I think they find it so much easier to slap a label on their parents. My mom's a narcissist, my dad my this and that, whatever the case is. Instead of simply saying, I don't see eye to eye with my parents today. Maybe we don't have a lot in common, or maybe we've gone in different directions. And I've made videos in the past, and I've said, I joined the military because I never felt particularly close with my mother. I've had conversations with her about how we could proceed in this world walking in the same direction, and I gave her a chance. And we just currently aren't in the same boat. And so I want to say, it is so much easier to label someone. And then when you say your mom is abusive or she's a Karen or whatever terminology they come up with next week, and everyone says, oh yeah, you need to disconnect because your mom is XYZ. And then they'll say, my mom is too. So I just want to say, if you want to disconnect from your parents or someone or whatever, you can do so. And it's easier to put a label on someone because then the world looks at them and not at you. And then the world says, you have good reason. I would never have a relationship with someone like that. So think about it. If my kids wanted to disconnect from me, they could do so and just keep it short, sweet, and to the point. I'd say my mom and I just don't get along or whatever. I mean, you can do what you want. But I think it's easier to label someone than accept responsibility for your own actions. But if you have worked in the medical field or you know anything about records, I would never diagnose anyone. Why? Because I don't have training. It's not my background and it's not my expertise. So anyways, think about that. That's all there is to it. I will be back.